We're going to do a deep dive into XSF truss. We're going to talk about some different components. We're going to talk about how to rig truss properly, some different customizations, and different types of truss. So this is a stick of 12-inch by 12-inch box truss here from XSF. The tubes on the truss are typically 2-inch OD. We can also make them in different sizes, like we can get speed rail size truss, but most common is going to be 2-inch OD. The long cords of the truss, CHORDS or tubes, we refer to as the main cords. There are typically 4 of these on a box truss. You can also have a 5th cord. We shot a video on that. The cords that run across here referred to as horizontal cords. Now the cords that form like a trellis pattern here are referred to as diagonal cords. Sometimes we call those diags for short. You can also have internal cords. So internal diagonals. Internals will go from sort of corner to corner inside of the truss, and that can help with twisting. Now typically you're going to have 2 sides of diagonals and 2 sides of horizontals. If it is a tower truss though, you will have typically a 3rd side of diagonals and 1 side of horizontals. That 1 side of horizontals is usually your ladder. That's where you're going to climb the truss. And you will a lot of times have some internals with that as well. But we can also customize that, and sometimes we'll do a 4th side of diagonals. We'll do that on exterior rigs a lot where we're worried about wind and ice and things of that nature. How to rig truss. So I've got a couple of 2-footers here. We typically say V for victory. We like to start our truss runs with V's. It doesn't matter if you start with V's or A's as long as you follow the same pattern. These truss here are in the correct orientation. So we start with a V and then an A and then a V. If you were to rig your truss like this, that is wrong. That's very wrong. It's also wrong if you rig it this way. You're not continuing that VAV pattern, and what you're doing is breaking what we call the harmony. The way that truss works is you're going to have a load either on the top or the bottom. The top and the bottom are usually going to be where your horizontal cords are, and your diagonal cords are going to be facing on the front and back. That load that you're carrying is going to be on top or bottom, and the stress of that load is going to get forced down through these diagonal cords and is going to spread the stress of that load out throughout the entire run of truss. That's how truss works. That is why we're able to make a product that is super light but is able to carry a lot of weight. A 10-foot section of truss, if you have points end to end, can carry thousands of pounds, and a 10-foot stick of XSF only weighs 55 pounds. And that is because of the way that it spreads the stress out through the structure or through the truss itself. So when you break that harmony and you don't continue that VAV or AVA pattern, doesn't matter. If you break that harmony, you are disrupting that harmonization of the stress going through the truss, and that can cause it to fail. Different types of truss. The most common is going to be bolt plate truss. There is also fork end truss and conical connections. In the United States, it's typically bolt plate or fork end. Fork end is stronger than bolt plate truss. When they manufacture fork end, the machining actually goes up inside of the tube, and it is stronger, but it's less common and it's almost twice as expensive at bolt plate. Most of the time bolt plate will fit most people's needs for load capacity and will be just fine. I've got the protected bolt plate here from XSF, and I've also got a piece of, I think this is Tomcat. This is how truss, bolt plate truss was made traditionally, and this is how most manufacturers still continue to make it. Protected bolt plate is an exclusive product from XSF, and the original intention of it was to protect the ends of the tubes of the truss. So whenever you rate truss or you're doing a quality control check on it, you're looking for signs of deformation or if your truss is deformed. You see here on this tube, it is smashed in. That is super common when you're going on and off of shows and on and off of trucks, these get thrown around and the end of that tube gets smashed in. To me, probably not a huge structural issue, but if you're going by the book, you would fail this truss. You would not be able to use it. It's also super ugly. So when you're going to do a rig or an installation for a client, you want your product to be in the best condition possible. If it looks ugly and it's all dented up, it's going to look bad. And it's just like we always say, if it looks good, it is good. On the protected bolt plate, this full plate is going to protect the ends of those tubes from getting smashed in. But it also serves another purpose. You can see here, traditional bolt plate is only going to have 2 strips at the connection. And there is only about 1.5 inch weld on the top and bottom of each of those plates. When we do a full plate on the end, on the protected bolt plate, we're able to get almost a complete weld on all 4 sides. And that is going to make this about 30% stronger than the other truss on the market that is made in this fashion. We stock these here at Film Speed, mostly 12-inch box truss. We've got miles of it. We also keep 20.5, but there's a ton of different variations. You can check those out on our website, and we can order any of those for you. In terms of customizations, there are a million different ways that we can configure truss. There's a host of standard products, so we go all the way from 10-inch box truss up to 36-inch by 36-inch box truss in bolt plate or forking connections. We can even do ladder truss and triangle truss, but we can customize them in any way that you want, and we can do any size that you want. We've done truss that is 6 foot deep. We can also do metric dimensions if you want. We can do different size cords. We can also do different powder coats and anodizing. Powder coat can be in basically any RAL color. Anodizing, we do that a lot to protect the truss in outdoor environments where we're worried about weather and corrosion, or sometimes in pool environments where there might be chemicals in the air that might cause corrosion on the truss. The anodizing will protect it. Again, you can check this out on our website at filmspeed.com.